What's going on, everybody? We are live. Happy Sunday, Sunday ahead of Memorial Day. First off, thanks to, you know, our remembrance of those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. So hopefully any of you guys are remembering those that have fallen. But welcome to Sunday stream. This week, I really didn't have a ton of like little on the bench projects. So I am this weekend. I've got a bunch of plans. A lot of the stuff I have to do is like I need to be on the CNC though, and all of that. And I have other plans for the week. So this Sunday stream, we're just basically going to try and answer some questions. I'm going to try and keep track of some things that I am going to get done this weekend. I hope. Wishful thinking at this point. But I did have the three-wheel Reliant Regal from Camtech that Moose Jaw painted for me here on the bench. A couple of Bart from Anti-Gravity, he had also picked one of these up, and he's like, have you driven yours yet? And I was like, no. He's like, you should make a front wheel setup that uses a bearing, because evidently this one doesn't. So may have to figure that out. But that's also on there. And then I need to trim these body posts off, get this thing down to normal. Yeah, man. Josh using a notepad. This is intense. I have so many notepads. Like I take so many notes like throughout the day. Just like that's my if I don't write it down or put it in my phone, like it's monthly mayhem idea. SCX-24 rock racers with any 3D printed part files sold and donated to 11 Charlie to help vets with PTSD. They, with okay, I see. With any 3D printed part files sold, and then, I see what you mean. I just trying to do, man. SCX-24s as rock racers is a tough one. Who trims body posts anyway? I know what you mean, Alex. That seems unnecessary. Although I do have the Beetle did claim a spot down there on the shelf right now. I had to move a three-wheeler down for now, and then we'll go from there. Am I using a pencil? You will never see me using a pencil. I hate pencils. Pet peeve. I am a pen snob, though. I like very specific pens. There's just some of them are just like a crappy, like regular clicker ballpoint pen. I'm like, no, thank you. Being picky about pens like is come from years of training. But this weekend, my plan is to I'm gonna go pick up at least two shelving units, and try and organize my garage a little bit better because as has creeped into video, there's a lot of vehicles back here, and what you see is just an indicator of what you don't see. So yes, check in where you're watching from, as always, though. Finland, South Africa. Wait, Finland and South Africa. Oh, that must be other people who are checking in already, and he's just commenting. I got so many cars on their lids, they're practically our roll cages. I didn't bring it in. Moose Jaw also painted the drift car body. I should have brought that in. I forgot to do that. See? It's just a lack of space. We need to do that, though. West Virginia checking in. I got a new Axial bomber, and it looks just like it. See, exact. My bomber's on the top shelf right now, and I tried to keep it. I like when they kind of have that stock outward appearance for some of those things. I mean, I like to change it up later at times, but usually I'd like to try them keeping them looking relatable for a while. Are you going to Rocas Rojo? Still hope so, but honestly, I haven't got any of the planning done with the changes that had happened for me at work in the last few weeks. Whew, it's been wild. Dude, your Kyosho Phaser Camaro was all jacked up. Is it? Where's it? Well, you can't see it, but yes, if you watched the video and saw saw it twerking here on the bench. Alex, Minnesota, going to a race. What race? Central Missouri, thinking about skipping out and going crawling in Cosmo Park. Do I know Cosmo Park? Is that in Columbia or Columbia area? Hawaii, Netherlands, South Dakota. I do love South. Where at in South Dakota? Sunny UK. That I don't hear that all that often. Newport Beach, Netherlands. Hello, Harley. Have a Vanquish Pro. Looking for a winch. Don't find any. Do you have a tip for me from Germany? Yeah. So I mean, on the Vanquish Pro, you can. I suggest using internal spool winches. I was using like the one that I've got in a number of trucks, like that one there and that one there, but that's not a Pro. Doesn't really matter. The same winch. I use the Power Shift Technologies PST200. It's a stubby, so it fits really well and it just kind of tucks in. It's not crazy powerful though compared to some of the newer ones. It's done fine for me, and it's a little bit slower than especially some of like the top competitor winches now. But as far as me with not being like always winching that often, I don't necessarily mind the speed. It's done pretty well. So PowerShift Technologies, the PST200, that's the one that I've used. Antarctica, by the way, are you going to do a Kyosho Blizzard build? I've driven my Blizzard a few times, but I don't know that I have big plans on a build. Are you coming down to the Corona del Mar crawl spot? I always go to Corona del Mar, but only when I'm in the area. I don't have a plan to go down there. TRX4 recommends Sport or 2021 Bronco. Ooh, tough choice. I do love the look of the Bronco. If you like the look of the Bronco more than anything, like, I get it. But beyond that, the Sport is probably what I would go with. If you plan on changing the body and you want simpler, less expensive, and you plan to do a bunch of building, just pick up the Sport. Pick up the Sport kit even. Pretty cheap. And Sioux Falls, South Dakota. We actually have to go visit there. Nicole has one of her best friends lives there. So I want to get back into the Black Hills anyway. Not far from the Indy 500. Good point. Do you have any recommendations for a brushed ESC? I fried my stock ESC in my Sendero HD on its first run. Bummer. Man, if you want to just get a brushed ESC that's real decent for little money, pick up the Hobbywing 1080. Like $35, something like that. Am I wrong there? Might be a little bit more, but basically the 1080 is just a basic, great little ESC that'll get the job done and be better than the stock one. The stock one from Associated is made by Surpass, which is a little bit cheaper. Yep, in Columbia, just north of I-70 on the Diamond intersection. Okay, yeah, I just don't know that I've crawled that little park. I've crawled a lot of the parks in Columbia, though. If I could show you my bomber, I would, but we all know that the summer weather has arrived in Denmark as well. It is going to be 108 here on Monday. We closed the shop just because of both the heat and the holiday. Decided to give everybody the day off and just say, have a good one. More from South Africa. It's always fun on these Sunday streams. The time always allows for a little bit wider range of people to join in. Josh's favorite car? To me, M05. What is my actual favorite car, though? Honestly, at this point, my favorite car is my VS410 Pro. That's just my favorite car. That's my favorite RC at this point. But it always depends on what you're going to do. You know, if I'm going to go bash around, then maybe my VS410 Pro isn't the one I take. So it's all, you know. Let's see. 20-year-olds can race now because those cars are run by computer. IndyCar is not real racing. Change my mind. Ooh. Yeah, you know, I haven't watched Indy in a long time. F1, I've started watching a little bit more, honestly, because of the Netflix F1 show, which was a great show. I didn't really have much interest in F1 until that show. And then it's pretty impressive. But beyond that, I still enjoy NASCAR. Not that I watch it regularly, but still. 42 and the 1080 comes with a programming card. Yeah, 42. Is it $42? Okay. That's a fantastic price for a Hobbywing 1080. It's just there you go. Any chance VFD Hertz Dig will be available soon? Everything is just in constant production. They just get done in batches and get put up. So VFD digs are still, it's just once we finish a certain amount, then you finish a certain amount of parts, then you send all of those parts to plating, then they all go into assembly, get done, get put in. So I don't know exactly when the day because they're just always always working. Do you use a pen for doing white letters on tires? If so, which one? I have never done white letters on tires, so that is not. You are barking up the wrong tree, as they say. The weather has just been wet here in Central Texas. Hard to get the trucks out when all you do is slip. Yeah, and I mean, I was talking to my parents the other day, and it was like 50 some degrees in Iowa, Nebraska, where they're at. Like, so, yeah, as far as Rokas Roja, I don't know yet. I had planned on it, but things have just been crazy, and I just. Have you started the TRX 4000 Brominator build? Will it brawl after it's finished? That is part of my. I would have liked to have worked on some of that stuff this on this stream, but it just I need to film it. So I've got some like tires or wheels in here that I can assemble and things like that. But I really need to shoot the intro of the video. But this box is what is for that build, and it's getting heavy. So not heavy enough yet, but we'll get there. I don't know. This is maybe it's 5 pounds in here. I have such a hard time. I'm guessing 5 pounds. So I'm thinking that should put us over 10 to start with, which that's a pretty good start. Best IRL in real life. Is that what you're talking about, Alex? Motorsport right now? Rally. I like Rally. It's fun to watch clips, but I don't follow it as much. You make some of the best videos. That's why I always watch them. That's why you watch my videos? No. Thank you, sir. What electronics did you put in the MST Drift? I put a Hobby Wing XR10. So, well, this is the Euro, as they say. Yokomo YG302 gyro, and an XR10, which I can't remember what. I went with whatever Alex told me to put in there, and I can't remember if it was a 17.5 or a 13.5. Does it say on the box? I can't remember. I did whatever Alex said. So, I forget. But it's painted and ready to go. I should have brought that in today, but that is what I'll put that on my project checklist here. Wire drift car. So, because that's another one that just I've got everything for it now. Well, I still have the Moose Jaw did a nice deep, like not deep, but like a metallic burnt orange color, and it looks great, but it still has those hideous red wheels on it. And I haven't been able to find the prototype Vanquish ones we did years and years ago that never got produced. So I'm just like, I need to get those changed, or I need to buy some different drift wheels because it looks terrible with the nice orange body and those metallic-y red wheels. Oh, oh, it's so bad. So yeah, the Mayhem idea, 124th Rockford. Honestly, I don't think SCX24s make very good Mayhem cars. It's kind of hard to be Mayhem when it's like this big. It's like sometimes you see those like meme videos with like little people throwing javelins and then it's just like toothpicks landing in someone's beard. Seems like that's kind of SCX20. S Mayhem needs to be like ridiculous. And I think it's hard to do that with 124 scale. And yeah. Can you do more crawling videos? The problem is that nobody actually watches the crawling videos. Like Matt, like even Matt's, did you guys watch Matt's LS post video that he posted a few days ago? It's beautiful, and the vehicle is awesome, and it's cool terrain, and and they just do not get the viewership that they deserve. And it's like, it's just a bummer. So I would, if anything, I kind of like to do the vlog style more, where it's just like wherever we're out doing things and then go from there. So, yeah, that's the Need a bumper for a cliffhanger body. Is the plastic VS410 one too wide? Yes, that would be too wide. That cliffhanger body's nice, pinched, narrow. You need something pretty narrow, pretty tight for that body. I don't have a good suggestion yet. I've got my cliffhanger body here, but haven't actually. I'm thinking about putting my cliffhanger body on the flat rail truck there. So Formula Drift is awesome also. I do like watching Formula Drift. That's a pretty good time. Rally Cross is like a fist, like a fist fit in hatchbacks. What? I got a 13.5. Okay, 13.5 in my drift car. That sounds about right. Sounds like something I would have done more than a 17.5. Oh boy, he's making lists now, like Matt. Well, I make a lot of lists. Matt just actually Matt uses pencils. Like a weirdo. Of course he uses pencils though. Just howdy from Ohio. Just subscribed, found you randomly with the drag slash video. Hey, thanks. The drag slash has been a lot of fun. I'm actually thinking about taking that back out today and trying to do a little bit more filming of just some driving and testing without really changing anything other than just maybe some preload here and there, some little things like that. So yeah, that's but it's fun. I do enjoy the drag stuff. I haven't driven my nice new drag car yet. I need to do that. But, uh, you know, I still need to put a new wing on that, get everything. That car is like, I don't know. I just like it so much. But the drag slash, which is sitting right here, eh, it just feels like a car that I should be beating on. So I don't have to worry as much about it. It's, I mean, obviously, you can tell the testament to my driving skills is clearly noticeable. But uh, I've been to so many drag races; they always wreck, so I don't feel too bad. Let's see, VS410 drift car. I've thought about doing something with VS410. That would be fun. I watched it. It is awesome, Joe. Like, and it just they don't get the respect they need. Drift car to a trail runner. That's an idea. His stacking gear reductions. Josh being politically correct. Little bit. Yes. Monthly mayhem with some type of crazy three-wheeler. I need to talk. I'm just saying. No prep, tiny dancers. I need to talk Matt into it. Miss Friday's show, unfortunately, we'll watch it later. 30-second summary. The 30-second summary is that we built this on Friday and it turned out fantastic. It was a great time. I was solo. Nicole wasn't on the stream on Friday, but it turned out super cool. This is the MF01X 4-wheel drive chassis. Moose jaw painted and completed the body, and I got everything done and dropped on. But the details on this little body are so good. It's just absolutely worth it. I'm super pumped with that little car. You get two Moose Jaw specials. So let's see. And question: when doing your high-speed testing with the TRX6, did you ever run into death wobble? No, I never did. My TRX6 was just crazy stable. It never the the second to last week, I started to notice I had made some changes with the rear diffuser, or I had finished the first rear diffuser setup, and I had noticed that the kick-up that I had in the rear had started to put some downforce on the back, and I felt like it was starting to make the front light, and I could just tell that it was floaty. It never got wobble, but it was starting to get floaty. So that's why I put that front splitter on it to try and keep that front end down. And after I did that, it was just a laser. So I thought that worked really well. Cliffhanger would fit your flat rail well. Yeah, I think it would. And that flat rail needs a new front bumper, so that's something that I think is definitely planned. Owned it for 10 minutes and already put it on its lid. Oh, yes. Oh, well. It happens. After the first one, it's all just like, all right. Josh, will the normal hardware that is used to the VP beadlocks come in gold as well? Or is it only the scale? Only the scale hardware at this point. I guess it's not really. I see what you mean. It's a good suggestion. I'll have to think about that. I don't know if I could as easily handle getting that done for a number of reasons. No, Nicole, minimal cats. Josh built a beetle. That's the summary. Painting my cliffhanger the same color as that VW. It's not that far off, really. I the cliffhanger, one of my favorite bodies that's come out in a while. Can I get a close-up view or explanation on how your shelves are spaced from the wall for the LED lights? They're not spaced from the wall. They are against the wall. The LED lights just run along the back side where you can't see them. But they're just on that back edge. If you stand at the front side of the shelves, then you would see the LED. They're just positioned there for this camera. So if you're trying to make it look good at home, like normally, this is not the jam. You'd actually need to space it off like you're discussing, And then of course this blue light is just that thing on a lighting stand. So you need a beater body for the CUDA drag cart. 100% agree, Phoenix. That is definitely something that I need because that one is way too nice. How about making a leaf sprung truck go fast and turn? You're just trying to hurt my that hurts. And it floated nicely into your shin. Ouch! Glad to see you limping anymore. Yeah, that was actually before. I don't know. Did I have any arrow under the car when I hit myself in the shin? I can't remember. But yeah, that one, and that was actually all me. That was honestly, it was the worst place to film. I was trying to go, and it was this nice asphalt street, but then that street kind of curved, but the parking lot went straight. However, there was a curb return on this, so I kind of had to thread the needle between there. It was it was dumb at the speeds that I was hitting, and it started to kind of go a little bit too far right because that's the way that I needed to veer to make sure that it was gonna not hit the curb return, and I just kind of hit the steering a little too much. And when that TRX6 went up on two wheels, that's when, like as we saw in Matt's video, as it came up, that's when it really just makes a hard left. That was a tough one. Yeah. And that was into my foot, the inside of my left foot. Like, ouch. Yeah. Running into RC burnout. What's to build something that's new and different? Ooh, that's a great suggestion. RC burnout can be a thing. If I kind of get into that type of situation, normally I kind of go from just like building to running more, or I go from just building something to kind of designing my own new parts. Man, I don't know if you're in, but I would suggest trying to like get into a little bit of fabrication so that it's almost less RC, more a different genre, but you can kind of apply it to things you already have. Like for me, bashing is okay. It doesn't really, I tried flying. It was kind of fun. Like if I really get burnout, I like to go to fabrication. Where are the cats at? They're I'm sure surrounding Nicole at the moment. I've always wanted to ask, what's the T up on your? Oh yes, that's for my last name. Joseph mentioned it there. Yeah, my last name is Thiede. 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 No one ever pronounces it right. Don't worry. I even feel like I'm slurring when I'm saying it. So that's yeah, that's fun. What do you think of making bikes difficult? What do you think? What do you think making the bikes difficult with lead at Vanquish? Wow, I do not know what you're saying there, Red. What do you think of making the bikes difficult? I don't make a velodrome car. 15 years ago, they were door to door racing at 100 miles an hour. I those are cool. Also hard to find one of those, and pretty sure that the closest one to me is in L.A. And I'm not even sure if it's still like operating. Yeah, up on three wheels, not two, right? So RC burnout, I mean, Tiny Dancer is the cure for many things, and Joe's close to me, so could easily get him into. We could set up a race. I'm always looking for an excuse for people to actually want to push and do it. My fab experience in CAD 3D printing. Maybe I'll try metalwork. That's what I'm telling you, Joe. Like, and it doesn't. I need to do that video of kind of intro, like basic tool stuff, but it doesn't take much, man. Even if you just get into some real basic tube work, because that's kind of, it's almost the easiest. It sounds the hardest, but it's kind of the easiest because you're not having to cut sheets and things like that as much. You can go get some steel tubing or even some 1/8 inch steel rod, which is cheap. Bend it up. You get some basic brazing stuff. You get a map gas torch from Home Depot and some silver solder, and you just start making. You can make full cages. You can start with simple bumpers. You can start with little roll bar hoops for the bed of like the VS410 Pro, like I did on mine. Um, you can just do little things that are so rewarding and fun, and like creating something from like like building a kit is rewarding in ways, but like starting to build like custom things from no instructions and flat sheet, that is an absolute that's an absolute blast. Any chance of a pay-per-view fusion show? A pay-per-view. um I don't know about that. I don't know about pay-per-view. I would like to do another. I'll do another fusion episode because I mean, just because I enjoyed it so much personally, even if it's not super popular, I should do another one. Um, I mean, I have projects to do, and there's always something to draw in CAD that I need, and so yeah. All right, Tiny Dancer, it is. Get it, Joe. You will not regret it in the slightest. The most fun thing to drive. Like, I'm not kidding. If Josh gets burnt out, he digs out the Pro Boat. Pro Boat. It's hard to see. See, that's why I don't like black RC cars as much. That's the Flex Seal car right there. You can barely see it. Black. Ugh, going to make me get a Tiny Dancer. I'm telling you, it's the cheapest but most fun little thing. Get a bearing kit, and you need an RTR servo. Find a servo you took out of a car that works. That's it, and a bearing kit. You don't need a single other part. I don't think I've installed an upgrade on any of mine. They're just fun. Use a stock takeout ESC. The motor that comes with it is good. That's it. Make a crawler go from land to water to back to land. That's kind of the plan with the Flex boat, or Flex Pro, Toyota, Toyota, is that one was called? That's the Flex boat, Pro boat, whatever. Best way to get out of RC burnout is your RC friends. They might introduce you to new aspects of competition. Always, yeah, and we've got, being in California like we are, there hasn't been as many big things going on, but I think obviously, granted, we're coming into the hot part of the year again. So I picked up a cheap welder to make some bumpers and cages and stuff. Brazing works, but heating some of the thicker metal is a pain. That can be true. There's give and takes with that. So brazing is, like if you're trying to do tube work, or, like, and you're trying to do solid rod, like 3/16 solid rod, then it's a pain. If you're doing actual tubing, it works great. And if you're trying to do too thick of metal, yeah, you need some, it takes a lot longer. But then welding, if you get like a MIG welder or a flux welder, it can be ugly and it's a lot of work. to get things cleaned up and like looking good. You'll never get it as good looking as a nice brazed weld, especially for tube work. TIG welding works well because you can kind of flow joints a lot better, but much more expensive. So, but I picked up a MIG welder when I was kind of starting out as well, just because MIG welders are also just super handy tools to have in general. So, doing my first expedition crawl next Saturday. What should I bring besides my truck and batteries? Try and get just your most basic of tools, like wheel wrench, 2.0 and a 2.5 and a 1.5. And then, make sure you have water and some snacks. Like I don't try and carry a ton with me when I'm doing those type of things. As long as you're confident in your vehicle. If there's spares that you're going to need for your vehicle, okay, then do it. But beyond that, I try and just, if I'm going for a long hike, like I know I'm going to try and make a big loop. For one, my driving style may change. Mainly not with me though. I usually am pretty confident in it, but still. Jumps only go so. Wait, what? What are we jumping now, Alex? I'm getting some cool stuff ready for AAC crawl. Maybe I'll have a tiny dancer with me. Let's go. Oh, I'll bring tiny dancer. I always have a tiny dancer at AAC. That would be a good spot to like we get a sanctioned event. I could make sure we get that organized. We should work on that, Joseph. It's the song from Elton John. Hold me closer. Yes, they're technically called dancing riders or dual riders. Those are the two. I call them tiny dancers because they're small and it has dancer in the name. I bought an Axial Wraith 1.9 and it has real bad tire wobble. What's the fix? Don't worry about it. That's the thing. It's tires move. It's not a big deal. We run tires with foams. It's not like a full-size car. Don't really worry about it. Just drive it. It's fine. You're going to see that on a lot of cars. Don't worry. Like I said, just don't worry about it. Just drive it. Don't hold it up in the air and look at what the tires do. Just get out there and do something with it. You'll be happy later. All right, we'll set a course. I think so as well. Do BF Goodrich KO2's 1.9 work? Anyone tried them? The KO2. That's the what do you call it? The Proline version. That's the real all-terrain style. They're pretty small. They're pretty tight tread pattern. They work okay in decent rock that's not too dusty or loose. But beyond that, they're just a very scale looking. So it's not what I would choose for like all-out performance. But if you want the style of that kind of stockish look, then that's when you would use that. Doing my first build that is not a kit using a VS410 chassis, VFD, and AR44 straight axles. Thanks for making the video you did doing the same thing. Yeah, that was our first one of these, which would have been, I skipped last week because I was gone. I think that was 17 weeks ago. That was a long time ago, right? Whew. Sometimes just rocking tire back and forth will reset foams or like 10 for like 10 minutes. It's just not worth worrying about. That's just what they do. It's not a big deal. I mean, every car will do that to an extent. It doesn't really matter what. Any car like ours that has a large tire to wheel ratio is going to move around. So the biggest thing is just don't hold it upside down and look at it, or put it on a stand and look at it. Just go drive it. So what's our spec going to be? Stock motors. Stock motor 2S LiPo. That's the spec. Anything else, you go for it. But stock motor 2S LiPo. That's the way to go. Trust me, the competition of the tiny dancers is really about the all-out speed, because they're all over the place. When they start going too fast anyway, those things do get some death wobble. And then the tiny dancers, they'll get going, the front end just kind of starts wobbling, and then they just cartwheel. Josh, what's your honest opinion on the landmines you ran on the flat rail? I loved them. I think they were great tires. I'm not sure if they're better than a Hyrax. The locations that I've ran them in so far were super high grip locations. Folsom Lake here locally to us is high grip. Like it's most tires work well. The rock is fairly clean. It's grippy. There's not a lot of loose stuff, so any tire with a decent compound will grip pretty well. Then when we were down in Vegas, that was a sandy terrain, but they still did well. So I'm still fully on board with them. I have no intentions of wanting to change them out on that truck. I think that they were perfect. So I don't expect to do any changes as far as that goes. Tiny Dancers get massive death wobble since those front wheels are just sort of there. Yeah, the front. A lot of people see the Tiny Dancer and they think that it's leaning and that front tire is turning, but that front tire, it's just there's a spring that centers it. So when it leans, it just fights the spring and kind of leans over with it and just follows. So it's passive. There's no servo attached to it. Nothing. Which dancer has the black plastic again? That's the dual rider. The dual rider is the same as the dancing rider. It's just black plastic. Oh wait, yes. It's black plastics in a different body. The dancing rider has the gray plastics. It is more of a survival race. They survive pretty well and they self-right, which is a bonus. But the bar that helps them self-right can get knocked off pretty easily. So there is that. And beyond that, it's just you get knocked over, you get back up, and you get going again. Too much fun. You can get stronger springs for the front wheel to help with the death. I have seen that. I have not picked Miss you fucker. I need to get some shippy. No, what are we gonna call this? Skippy. This is Skippy. Matt's is shippy. We'll call this Skippy or Lippy, one or the other. Hold me closer, Tony Danza. Now I have 11 pairs of most. Now I have 11 pairs on most of my crawlers. What? Tamaya made off-road tires for the. Yes, they did for the Dancing Rider. They're kind of funny. They're a little bit rounded. They got some big old blocky style. They look like old ATV tires. Are your shelves from IKEA? Yes, they are the Lack shelves. Lack. Lack. These are the black ones. My local IKEA only had white and a dark brown now. But I think you can also find them on Amazon. Not sure if they're legit or not, but I mean, it's IKEA, so is there such thing as knockoff IKEA? Dancing Rider ordered. Worth it, Gunner. Gunner, we need to still meet up. I did not touch base with you last week. I have your MT410 behind me. We need to do that. See what's going on this coming week. Yes. Landmines, perfect. So, yes. The bug body, or the whole beetle, really. I think this thing is ready. What did I need to do? Oh, I need to put a XT60 on that. I should write that down. XT60 on the bug. And then this thing is ready to go. Oh, I do. I can't remember. Yeah, it looks like, and I need to get a battery for this thing because I really don't have 2S batteries. Need to call. Need to find a Genzace that is going to work. How's the long wheelbase Mog? It is exact. It's done. It just still needs the paint. Okay. Battery for bug. Oh, dang it. That's not. That needs to go up here in the things to buy category. So, I need to. I have 3 sections of my lists. I have things to do, project checklist, and things to buy. So you gotta keep things organized. Battery and calipers. To me, a connector's for life. Let me paint it. Joseph wants to paint. You know what? That's no problem. Not a problem. Figure out a way to get it. That's becoming my favorite part of the hobby right now. Hey, I I've got so many so many things to paint. I just keep spreading them out. All the people that will do it. I'm glad. And so Moose Jaw's been obviously banging out a bunch of them for me. Uh, Suits is also back up and running. So he's getting he'll have the 50K finished up before too long once we get that all situated, which is great. And then RC Patina guy also had one. I have his things to do. I need to put that in there. Guy car. Good thing I'm making lists. So many things to do. That's but that's why lists are such a good idea. I'm really looking forward today. I've decided when we were in the mod chat this morning, um, I had decided that I needed to go get some more shelves because things have really started to spill out, and I need to get things organized before Nicole actually murders me. If next week's live stream doesn't happen, it's because I've been actually murdered. And well, I don't even know if we call it murder because it'd be justifiable. The shelves. Lack translated is lacquer, referring to the finish of the shelf. What? I had no idea. I didn't know that those IKEA words translated to anything. I'm gonna start trying to translate all of the things that that I buy from IKEA now to figure out what they mean. I thought they'd be more original than that. Can we see the bomber? We could see the bomber. I haven't pulled that down in a while. Let's put. I still haven't fixed my front drive shaft, but other than that, it is still in like new, like new condition. Other than of course everything that we've done, basically changing up everything about it. Um, so I'll probably take this thing with me to Axial Fest. Maybe I'll do some rock racing. I don't think we're going to be doing a booth this year at Axial Fest because of some of the changes. So I'll have some time to go do some stuff, and I think that that will give me a good excuse to take the bomber up there and go have some fun. Normally, like when the rock racing and things like that are going on, I don't participate because I'm usually manning our Vanquish booth. So I'm just like, this year I can just do whatever I want. So, big red bitch. If I already told you, Josh, if you feel like sending the body to Jersey, I'll paint it for you. See, there's always going to be something. That's for sure. It's like an avalanche. Yeah, I showed those guys some of the issues that I'm having with. Things are getting ridiculous. Justified homicide is a real thing. Oh, I agree. I think it's been documented well enough that they'd be like, yeah, I get it. Wrath of a Ginger. Most IKEA words names are actually either places in Sweden or names of things in Sweden. Oh, interesting. Josh, I don't have an actual problem. I just don't yet have enough shells to contain my problem. Yeah. No, does look so good. Thanks for showing. You know what? I'm super pumped with this thing. It's been great. The only thing I'm probably gonna do is I definitely need to get the front drive shaft fixed. Other than that, it's done and drivable. We programmed the ESC that day on like the last video of it, and from there we're good to go. So I imagine this will be the bomber I need to keep, just because I doubt that. I really wonder how long the bomber will continue to be around. The platform's getting older now. That I wonder. I know they're still going to make it. The Wraith is still around even, but I just wonder how long how long it's good for. It's interesting. Go bomber. I know. I need to do that. It's like I just have I used to do it more often. Like when I would go drive, like I would choose to take one of my 2.2s as like that would be the car I was going to go drive. But anymore now, it's just been all 1.9s. I just always choose a 1.9 to take. I don't necessarily know why that is, but I think it's just because of how durable and capable our 1.9s are now. That I never once worry about breaking my Pro or Ultra, like going to drive them. I know that I'm going to be so. When did the Bomber come out? The Bomber came out November or December of 2015, roughly, somewhere right in there. It could have been what October, November, December of 2015, if I'm remembering correctly. So 6 years old. It's a pretty old car. Let's see. The off-road tires are mini rally block tires. Is that what for the Dancing Rider? Is that what they were? Huh. The Bomber is a bit due for a true Mark II. It's still a viable platform. It is. It's just like the AR60 axles. Like those things came out in 2010, roughly. Somewhere right in there. So that was so those axles themselves are 11 years old. Those are the oldest axles in Axial's platform, or Axial's whole line. So, driving your Rift, or is it still an R&D in pieces? My Rift has officially been consumed to the R&D world. So I need to pick up a new one for myself. Well, I'll pick it up through work, so I don't have to buy myself a new one. Like, but basically at this point, like when we have a vehicle for R&D, that's basically what it is forever, because you start taking pieces off and fitting it to prototype parts, and it just goes back and forth. Like that one, that Rift, as you saw it, will probably never run again. It's like, it's so, there's so many cars we have that are just like, once they've been a prototype car, it's like, okay, well, see you later. I could pick up, what I think I could do is I could buy one of the builder's kits, the Rift kits, and then steal the electronics back out of my old one, because, like I said, it's never going to run again, so it doesn't really need the electronics. So that would be the reasoning there that we did. Didn't a Bomber win at KOH this year? Great platform. Yes, Randy Slauson did win again in his Bomber. I can't remember if that's his second or third win in the Bomber. Of course, it's constantly developing and things like that. Minor things. It looks the same as it always has, but still. The Slash is older than that and still going. Well, Traxxas is one of the Traxxas platforms. They do go quite a long time with a platform. As we see more brands come out with cars without body posts like Axial, Traxxas, and Red Cat, are there any plans for Vanquish to do something like that? I mean, it's always an idea, right? It's always something that could be continued to be added. I think that Traxxas's new one is great. Axial's is it can be a bit finicky, but it's still a good one. Red Cats with the Velcro, I would not be okay with that. But I still agree, it's nice to not have body posts. I didn't want to get a Bomber because I thought it would be a money pit, 2K into a Rift. Yeah, they can be. The Bomber is another one of those. It was designed in the 90s. One heck of a long life. What was designed in the 90s? The Slash? Didn't it come out in the mid 2000s, like 2007, 8, 9 time frame, somewhere in there? Traxxas is still selling platforms from 94, right? Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, Traxxas is one to... Hello, Dead Horse. What is a good reason, or Horizon's reason, for discontinuing the Yetis? I think that it was a platform that competed with the Rock Ray Baja Ray, possibly wasn't seeing sales numbers. It had its own issues with durability and things like that. And, it could have had a lower profit margin than one of the other cars. So, like, if they just sell more of the other one, it would be a better deal. So that's what I'm guessing. I don't know, but that's what I'm guessing. Slash is the new bandit or rustler. It will never die. That's probably true. Josh, good morning. You enjoy the Rift more than your bomber. That's a good. I don't. I don't know because the Rift is so different, being open diffs all over. It drives so totally different. I don't. I just don't. I don't know. That's a really tough one. Sorry, jumping around here. I know you don't like Hobby Wing, but I do like Hobby Wing. I don't like the axe system. That's it. I'd like Hobby Wing. But in your opinion, what Hobby Wing motor would you put in a TRX4 Sport single speed trans in, I'm thinking the Fusion. The Fusion is okay. It's slow. 1800 kV is as fast as you can get. I love the convenience of it. It's just too slow for me. I don't know if you're why you would be stuck on Hobby Wing only, but I mean, if I was gonna have to do a Hobby Wing brushless, you would need to do an axe, but you could go with one of the faster ones, somewhere maybe closer to 2700 kV. If you're stuck on Hobby Wing, then maybe an axe in that range. So that's as far as crawling goes, that's your best bet from Hobby Wing. The 1415 Castle is a beast in the Rift. Yeah, I'm gonna have to find I haven't decided yet how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna have to put a big motor in the new Bronco. But I want a low kV, so I need like an 8th scale, like 1200 kV system for that Bronco. Super slow. The Traxxas Bandit came out in the late 80s, I think. I just got back from Waffle House. Oh, Waffle House. We don't have those out here. Not that I know of it anyway. I don't know that I've seen a Waffle House in California. I think they were just east. Maybe. Somebody correct me there. Slash came out in the mid 2000s, but even at that time, people were just like, it's another rustler. Do you have any opinions on what the best bomber upgrades are? I'm going for the Rift bouncer capabilities, but keeping it able to crawl. I have tires and rims, Spectrum ESC motor setup. Wait, are you talking about a Rift or a bomber? Do you have any opinions on the best bomber upgrades? I mean, I have. You can watch my last couple of series on the bomber. I've got a bunch of info on there. But on the next part, trying to do a bouncer, but trying to make it still be able to crawl. That's a weird. It's a weird. You're going to end up with something that doesn't do either well. That's the problem when you try and do something that's can go real fast but can also go slow. It's difficult to do. Any plans to try out the Holmes Hobby silencer? I'm sure I will. I didn't grab one right away, but I definitely will pick one up. I always trust what Holmes development is doing, so I'll definitely have to grab one and throw it in something. My Rift is getting a Hobby Wing XR8 Pro and a 4268 SDG3. I do not know the Hobby Wing stuff, but that sounds like a big motor. Josh, did you get the Copperhead ESCs yet? Yep, I did. I haven't used them yet, but I picked up a couple. I just haven't thrown them in anything yet. So I don't really have anything that needs an ESC right now. I have that Wraith 1.9 that I haven't done anything with yet, but I don't know. I don't have any plans for it yet. I just have it. So I'll come up with something. I think when the Bandits came out, Traxxas was still viable for racing. I didn't know that they ever got into racing. What's wrong with the axe system, or is it just that you don't like about it? I don't like the FOC part of the axes, and their axes are real low on power in comparison to like another comparable system. They just they try and smooth things out for you rather than letting you modulate the power, which is basically the purpose of that system. Like that's what they wanted to do, and they do that. I just don't like that. But more than anything, I don't like how low on power they are. Like if it's your first setup into a brushless system, then it's definitely going to feel powerful in comparison to, brushed setups. But if you compare it directly to something like a Holmes system or a Tekin system, Castle ESC Holmes motor or a Tekin ESC and motor, that's just not much of a comparison. They're just, they just feel kind of gutted in comparison. So that's why their low end feels so mushy to me. But a lot of people like them, and just because of that style. For me, it's just not something I've tried them like 3 or 4 times. I keep people like them, and it's just because of difference in driving styles. For me, it's a hard pass. So, but I wish that the Fusion. I wish that there was something like the Fusion available in a setup that I really enjoyed. So, yeah, Hobby Wing 550 is not slow, man. It's still gutless in comparison, though. It's just there doesn't have to be slow. You can get the faster. Slow does not mean, or fast doesn't mean powerful necessarily. There's big differences in that. And that's where the Hobby Wing falls so short in comparison. So it's just because it's fast doesn't mean that it stacks up the same. Have early 10th scale E-Revo. It is a bit too slow for what I need to do. Man, I had an E-Revo for, I don't know, it had to be like 2009-ish. I think that was the last time I had a Revo. Let's see. Sorry, I'm late in the garage installing insulation. So I need to sheet. Ooh, hope it's not as hot there as it is here. Picked up one for my current 6x6 flat rail build with a 3800 kV slate motor. My 6x6 with a 3800. There you go. With the Rift, you want censored. It helps so much with the 2-speed. My boss has the Mamba X Rock 412. Really good combo for it so far. Yeah, for me, the 2-speed is not something that I want in a Rift, especially with that power. It's just not what I'm after. I would rather have it locked and just solid. Waffle House in Arizona is the closest one. Oh, there we go. Good old Waffle House. It's like trying to explain Waffle House to people. Like, is it good? Not really. Well, is it like a cool environment? Not really. Like, what? Why do you go there? You just have to go. It's hard to understand. You just have to go. Building my second Vanquish. It's an Ultra. Any tricks or tips before I start? Not really. There's not a whole lot of like specific tip. Pay attention to screw lengths. I think on the front axle there's like one 22 millimeter screw and the rest are 20s. So make sure you find that 22. And yeah, everything else is pretty straightforward. There's a Chicken and Waffle House off Watt Arcade, but not the same. Definitely not the same. I think there's a Chicken and Waffle place right off of Watt and 80 too, right by the shop, right by the gun range. So there's fast and then there's torque. 50 degrees and raining there. Hey, that's not bad for working in the garage though. Other than if you have to like cut things outside. Crazy kids in your Waffle House. Never been to one. You have to go, Alex. Have to go. It will be 100+ and face melting hot. Yeah, here too. It's just anyone here from which upcoming RC events will you be attending, and will you be vlogging any of them? So we've got I hoping to still make it to Colorado for Rocas Rojo. That's coming up like right away though. Axial Fest is coming up. Autism Awareness Crawl is coming up. So all of those, if I'm any of them that I'm attending, I will definitely be shooting video at. Traxxas has a championship with SRT. I don't know. What does that mean? Oh, man, this stuff's jumping. Still have my brushless Revo just rebuilt a month ago for the ESC to smoke. Backward. Yeah. What do they have now? What's their replacement for or they have the Revo still. They have the E-Revo 2.0, right? That's their replacement. I don't know if there are any in California, but Huddle House is like Waffle House only clean. I don't think that there's Huddle House here either. I think those are in the South as well. Waffle House is very good. Kind of ghetto, but still worth it. I like it. Sacramento has some of the shittiest summers, and this year looks really bad. Oh man, it is. That is so true. It's there's well, I mean, I'm coming from the Midwest, which the like we have the heat and humidity. So, it's not there's some pluses, I guess. If you at least I'm if you're used to really shitty weather and you come here, it's like it's just kind of shitty. Waffle House is akin to people spotted at Walmart. Yeah, one of those indescribable experiences, especially if you find, you know, my parents lived at Lake of the Ozarks for a while, and I tell you what, Lake of the Ozarks Walmart people, that's some good stuff. That for sure. It's not summer around us, Josh. This is fire season. Holy crap, is that ever true? Man, the whole fire season thing out here is very wild. I tell you what, I'll go back. I'd take tornadoes over fire season any day. Not many events here, RC events here in Denmark. So it really, oh yeah, that is and especially out here on the West Coast, we have some pretty awesome large RC events. It's always a good time to get to. Josh will be able to walk all the way across Folsom Lake in a month. It looks pathetic out there right now. I can't believe how low Folsom Lake already is. I mean, they're talking about major like, water shortages and things like that here. More California problems. We didn't really get any snow this year, so there's not much melt. Any of the melt that is melting is just infiltrating into the ground rather than running down in the streams. It's gonna be a crazy year. So we don't get much humidity, but it's a really strong dry heat. In the Northeast, we have no good quirky restaurants. Really? I find that hard to believe. Come to Axial Fest Badlands and go walk and go to Waffle House too. You know, there's a chance that I could make Axial Fest Badlands happen. It's I just have to I've got planning to do. I've got a lot of trips that I have to make this year. Or it is can't remember. Maybe I can't go to that one because Nicole it will be in Charleston that weekend. You know. It's like I don't remember why she has to go to Charleston. Like a bachelorette party or something. So, yes. Bad fire seasons are a newer thing. We never used to get smoke here in the west of the Cascades. Last few years we have. Yeah, it's pretty wild. I mean, especially it's so hard to believe how big they are and how much damage they do. What's something done in one to one rigs that really hasn't made its way into RC rigs? uh, Proper cutting brakes. You know, the Axial XR10 was supposed to be able to have them, but it cutting brakes are incredibly powerful to use in the full size world. Um, in RC, it may not work as well just because of how different our weight distribution is. But it's one of those things like with how powerful they are in the full size world, it would be cool to be able to have them reliably in RC. But it's a whole nother challenge, because basically you need either a brake or you need like a dig to function on one side. Yeah, it's a tough one. I went to Oklahoma a couple years ago and it was 100, but felt like 80 to me. Humidity in Michigan feels makes 75 feel like 110. I came from Nebraska, Missouri, things like that, where we still had strong high humidity. You get that 70-80% humidity and 100 degrees and you would just melt. You just constantly just I would run full-time dehumidifiers in the house. I would fill up gallons a day. Like, it's just nuts. I want scale hydraulic steering. And now it's fully doable at this point, like there's so many hydraulic systems available, especially in like the big rig heavy equipment side. Like we could do it. And you just have to listen to the whine of that hydraulic pump the whole time. Just whee. So yeah, is Vanquish going to make a toolkit for the SCX24? Right now, that's not a plan. So I hear what you're saying. I guess it really hasn't even been much of a thought, but whatever happened, 50K. We have the truck is finished itself. It's just the body, which had quite a delay, but everything's back on track for that now. Suits is gonna be back to painting soon, and he is the one who had initially been the painter and had some health stuff and had to take a few months off, and he was moving the whole time. It was a you know just life happens. Life happens to all of us. So, but it's a good deal because the body will be done now and we'll be ready to go. Normandy, great place. Indiana has all the goods. I have never heard anybody say that. So, RC track camera. So the Badlands I think will be a good time. I would like to get there. So it's a thought at this point. Hopefully something that we can still make happen. But let's see. Do we have any other ones kicking around here that I can bring up? We I just need to pick up the tires for this, and then this is ready to go. Ooh, I should put that on my list. Because this thing now with the new carbon fiber, let me put that on my things to buy list here. I need the TRX6 tires and wheels. Because we're going to go to reactions on this. And I mean, the reactions to help with the ballooning, but also because, we had a blowout on the last run of this. Grimger, thank you, sir. Later. Thanks for checking in. But this thing's ready to go now. All of the arrows done, all of the electronics are done. I wouldn't mind maybe redoing the splitter in carbon fiber because right now it's just a plastic, but that's just the last thing to do, really. There's a million other little things that could get done, but for the most part, I'm pretty happy with it. I've got the ESC in its proper place on the carbon fiber tray and with the new fan on there. I do probably need to change out the radios. That was what I was going to do. But I was going to run it with the Traxxas telemetry again and the Traxxas radio with my Sky RC mount on there. And that would be so that I can just kind of compare and confirm that everything is close. I was running my Dynamite speed meter and it matched what this one was doing pretty closely. So I feel like I'll be close. Of course, we've got the much larger motor in there, new servo mount. Yeah. Would the new drag / body fit on a TRX4? No, not even close. Way too wide. Wheelbase is wrong. It would not. Short course bodies are not made for that size. So yeah, that's so many screws. Yes, but they're titanium now. All titanium hardware, because yes, so many screws, but titanium. It's that makes everything better. So yeah. Hello from the UK. Any gold wheels in the works at VP? I think gold wheels will be a possibility. The gold rings have been popular, so I think that gold wheels would be also likely popular. Something that I think is worth doing. I've got gold wheels on that, which I had done as a like custom. So those are gold method 101s that I had done. Same anodizing that we do on the rings. And I think they look great. So, I mean, I'm obviously a fan, so I think that it would be a solid idea. Ugh. So yes, uh, that's a big ESC. Yeah, that is the Traxxas Valinian 8S ESC, and then we're using the 2200 kV 6S motor, which maybe we could push to 8S. It's a possibility. We'll see how this thing handles now. I think I re-geared. Pretty sure that I re-geared. Does not sound like it. I don't think that I put a pinion on this. Damn it. I should put that on the list. um, TRX6 pinion. Yeah. There's definitely no pinion in there. How scary would it be to add up the money spent on the TRX6 at this point? I mean, yeah. But at the same time, the money hasn't been crazy into this, unless you started counting up how much uh, there was in like development time. Then it would actually be crazy because, there's maybe, I would say there's probably $200 in carbon fiber in it. The straight axles are one thing. There's gears in all of them. The shocks are stock. Um, I mean, the motor and ESC combo, Traxxas gave us those though, so that's, I guess, but those are expensive. Um, and then I had the straight axle conversions on it, but this is still the stock servo that did that speed. Um, so it's really the time that has been in this thing. Like that's the big thing. Um, Big ESC to feed a big motor. That truck is made only to the most exotic materials. I know, right? I thought for sure Traxxas was going to release their version of that along with the drag slash. I just made a sandwich. What did I miss? Not very much. Why no Vanquish Green? Because green was the absolute biggest pain in the ass ever. To get that actual like light hue green, we were having to do a 2-color deal with like a yellow and a transparent green, and it was so inconsistent. It was even within a batch. Like colors can be inconsistent from batch to batch, but within a batch, it was still it was just like it's gone. It's gone. Uh, have you missed my question? Maybe like to hear your thoughts on it, please. I did not see your question. You'll have to repost it. Will Vanquish ever do Knuckles for the Capper SCX-10 3 portals? Possibility. It's just again, it's just a timing thing. And honestly, everybody was just so hung up on brass at the time that it's just like, I don't know if it's worth it to do aluminum. Hard to say. Is there a cause that uses gold for its color? Some VP gold wheels charity would be sweet. So I don't I don't know if they're specifically gold. I don't think anybody really has a color like, I mean, what was it? The Lance Armstrong thing was always was testicular cancer that used yellow, but that's not really gold. Needs underglow. Yes. Although I don't want to put any more holes in the bottom of my, so it wouldn't really be under. And I can't put LEDs on the outside because it's too pretty. There's too much pretty carbon fiber under there now. I do love how the diffuser came out. It looks so good now. I like the I did this new window style here for the rear. See, kind of comes up and I did it with bent carbon fiber. I used half mil carbon and made it so that it follows a bend. It's good stuff. They stopped. Yeah, I'll get rusty on it. That. Yes, there you go. Titanium screws ain't cheap, especially that many. Oh, that was true. I forgot. I did buy a decent amount of titanium screws for this thing. That does add up too. This cage for this SCX-10-2 is driving me crazy. I need help reconfiguring the front to sit my ESC servo and battery. That can be the difficult thing with cages, especially, is either them not being fully designed around things very well, or yeah, it's a tough one. Children's cancer is gold ribbon. Yellow was for the Tour de France leaders. So any plans for you to get into drag racing? I do it a little bit. I honestly, when I go to them, everybody's so serious. I usually just like to film more. I just like to play around. There we go. I'm thinking about converting my Arma Fury BLX to a drag car. Seems like a good platform for it. What are your thoughts on it? I don't know the Arma Fury. I assume it's a comparable short course truck. However, the no prep stuff, while yes, it is just wheels and tires, once you start getting into some of the other things, it's common for people to put anti-roll bars, other little tuning things here and there. And if you don't have a platform that is supported commonly in that genre, you're going to be kind of short on that. Now, if you're not trying to be super competitive, then you'll probably be fine. But you're going to have a hard time finding a wheelie bar that's going to mount up properly, and you need a wheelie bar. So you can make it work, absolutely. But at the same time, if you really want to get into it, you may end up saving yourself money by finding a platform that's actually supported. You know what I mean? LED tape. I feel so bad covering up the bottom of this thing at all. It looks so good. Oh, I don't have all the screws in the side of this one, I guess. Why didn't I do that? That side's on. This side is not. Something else I haven't done. What do you know? Wouldn't overdrive be helpful in some real cars? Some wouldn't overdrive be helpful? Some real cars have 2 to 3% overdrive in the front to keep it straight. I don't. In what? Oh, you mean in this? Well, the problem is getting 2 to 3%. That's not really a thing in these. In real cars, you have a lot more ring and pinion options. In this one, I would only be able to go from like stock to underdrive or stock to overdrive. And that's going to be like 13%. And that much overdrive in something like this would likely be a disaster. So, I don't think that that's likely. And honestly, this thing has been just missile straight. I haven't had any problems beyond the one driving error that I caused myself. So getting 2 to 3% is just not a realistic thing in RC cars in the most part. So not without a very custom transmission that you had a very specific ability to create the gear set, and it's just likely. So yeah. Put the LEDs in the wheel wells. That's the only place I could see it. Did you see Schultz will be running a Lloyd soon? I saw that he switched to J Concept, so I wonder. I'm not a Drink Factors fan with that 6x6. Like I would be fun. Yeah, so much fun. Such a wicked fun project this was. I could probably re-engineer the wing now, but like I said, you could go on and on and on and never stop on projects. So get in a hole. There we go. When will the TRX 4000 Broncos start? Hopefully this weekend. I'm hoping to film the intro to that maybe today or tomorrow, and then I can start working on all of the installation of parts because I'm going to have to like shoot an intro and then do all of the work and then do the closing portion of the project for the first video. So there's a lot to do on that before I can like release the first one. So hopefully I can actually put a video out next week on it. VS410 Pro or Ultra, what would you go for? Pro is my preference. That is my favorite. Hey there, from the smallest room in the UK, looks like a lot of wheels to go fast. Absolutely true. Can you show us what you have planned for the V3 Woods Runner? I can't, I don't have much to show you at this point. I could grab it and just kind of talk about it, I guess. So, the next Woods Runner is here. Grab a car stand. So, for the most part, this is very similar to the previous, the V2 Woods Runner that Ben has now. It's similar in a lot of ways. Proportions had to change to fit the body. This is the VS410 Origin half cab body, but it's been narrowed an inch. It's been cut and narrowed. So it will require a custom grill. Granted, we have the CAD for that, so I can cut it, slice it down, 3D print one that's perfect for it without having to do it the hard way. Lucky me. So we'll do that to finish the front off. From there, I'll build an interior. It'll get a custom interior. I'll need to do proper seats. These seats do appear to be a little small for the added height of this one. I would say that this cage is likely close to, I wonder, I'd have to have Ben measure his, but I bet that this one is maybe 3/4 of an inch or an inch taller here. So it doesn't quite have the same proportions. I think that the other one with that C10 body probably had like almost the perfect proportions as far as that goes. But I think that this is really close. And it looks great. So I'm super happy with it. That C10 body is kind of perfect. So from there, it's all the little finishing things that just keep going. I'll need to do the aluminum bed process that I did on the one that Ben ended up with was pretty fantastic. I think I'll probably do something similar there because I think that looked so good. Or I might take that same type of process and change things up for how this one looks and just keep trying to figure out what's going to be the move. At this point, it's just all up in the air until I really start getting into it. I'll look at certain areas at a time. First thing I need to do is get some tires and wheels on it. I got a bunch of Proline crawlers here the other day, so I'll probably get a set of tires and wheels thrown on this thing as soon as possible so that it's a roller that I can move around and look at and really start to have some fun with. Let's see. Use the rear-wheel drive drift car yet, or was that a build and sell it thing? No, it's Moose Jaw just finished it, and I haven't finished wiring it yet, but we'll get to that. I'm about to start to cut this cage up. The battery wires are too short for the custom interior. Won't fit now. I think I'm done for today. I mean, you could always just extend wires. That seems like it would be easier than cutting up the cage to start. Damn it, I'm late. Was just watching your flat rail comp rebuild. Yeah, that was fun. How is the drift car coming along? Basically the same as you saw, other than Moose Jaw painting the body. Any dig options for the TRX4? No, not that I know of. Ben, how much? No. Barcelona, thanks for checking in. I love the movie references you throw out, even in the SNU captions. You have to have fun with it sometimes. Yes, hit the like button if you are watching and indeed Like, have the outdrive motors come in for the Flex Seal yet? No, they're not. They're supposed to be here by like the end of June. I haven't got any shipping notifications or anything on them yet, so we'll see. Still just a lot of waiting. Where can I get a Matt driver figure? You know what? That's I think he had himself scanned. So that's I don't know how he need I mean that would be kind of fun. There's so many things you could do with that. Make him sell those. This thing does look great. I agree as well. It's going to be I don't have any time frame on this. It's just going to be one that I just plan to just constant. The Woods Runner is 5.5 from the bottom of the slider to the top of the roof bar. On bends, this one is 6 inches, so it's only a half inch taller. It just looks so much taller. But yeah, so only a half inch difference, but half inch is a pretty big visual. So I mean, splitting the difference, you're looking at 13 millimeters or so total. So VS410 FFR. I do have my Ford Ranger body here, but I really, that's another one. I have no idea what I will ever do with that body. It's a big body. Checking in from San Francisco. Not very far from me. So, Portugal checking in. What is that truck? This is a VS410 Pro underneath. So VS410 Pro chassis has been sandblasted because it's been welded to. VS410 Pro axles. It's got the VFD transmission in there. And then the cage on top is custom. So, and it came out fantastic. So, that's curious. Did you notice any body rub with the new Bronco? I don't think I noticed. I can't necessarily confirm, but body rub isn't like necessarily something I notice because if tires rub a body, I don't really care. It just happens. Like it's just not something I care about. I'm used to it. I want to try and run bodies as low as possible normally. So I almost expect some body rubbing is possible at like extreme articulation. Like this one, I mean, even with these tires, which are slightly shorter than the ones that I'll be running, they already rub. Now this one I probably have about 1/8 of an inch of shock stroke left when they're already into the. So maybe I'll take off the lip of this fender, but body rub is just a thing. It's how you know you're doing it right. If the body is not rubbing, it's not low enough. So, let's see. There is a dig conversion for the TRX4. I have a kit. The designer's YouTube. I've seen the YouTube one and the 3D printed stuff. That one is interesting. I'm not sure how that stuff will hold up the long run, but yeah, I guess that is true. I have seen one. I just haven't seen one that I felt was like a true like production type ready deal. So, but this one will be a rig that I plan to keep for a very long time at this point and just slowly continue to work on it here and there. I assume you guys will see it on several occasions. You'll probably just keep seeing small transformations as it goes. I think I need to drop some electronics in this so that I can start sorting some things out. I suppose I could put that on a list even. Let's see. Woods Runner, tires and wheels, and electronics. Because then I can start moving some things around. Good day from Citrus Heights, Cal. See, you're right next to the shop too. So you're close by. But yeah, that's one day this will hit the trail. I'm guessing maybe in 2022, maybe. It's hard to say. Depends if I like find get get a wild hair and really go for it. I'm going to lengthen the wires, but I can't solder, so I have to use my local hobby shop. I don't want to screw up the Tekin power system. I'm cutting the cage for was from before. Soldering is something that is worth practicing. Get yourself a basic soldering setup and just practice. Not on the Tekin even. Just practice on some random stuff for a while. It is a it is the way to go. You need that little skill because that will make the rest of your hobby much more enjoyable. You won't have nearly the hurdles. How is the body held together after the narrow? So it's held together with the original strip that was removed, and then that's put underneath of it, and then some. I believe that this is shugu that then is used to help bond everything back together. This will get painted on the outside, so you won't see any of this. On the outside, this will be nice and solid. Probably do a backing color, of course, just to keep it like I'm gonna paint it. Backing color to keep things looking reasonable, but yeah. I'll buy that woods rumor build from you as a bonus. I'll keep my mouth shut about the flat rail build, bunny. uh, when this one is done, I can't imagine the ridiculous number I will put on it before it would ever leave. You should build a 1.9 bomber. I have 1.9 bomber. Oh wait, a 1.9 bomber. No, thank you. I don't think the bombers look good on 1.9s. I like the way the bombers look on 2.2s. I like the way the Wraith looks on 1.9s though. Oh, I should say I like the way the Wraith 1.9 looks on 1.9. What's going on, Rich? Happy Sunday. Happy long weekend, right? Can't stand body rub. You see, I'm telling you, if your body's not rubbing, you just don't have your car low enough. Lift kits overrated. You want the car low as possible. Little body rub, that's just I'm telling you, just like full size cars, full size off road rigs. They're gonna rub. Well, it's just gonna happen. Things will be done when they're done. Yes. Yeah. No, this one I have no intentions on rushing on, but and I really have no idea what the it's just how stuff goes, right? Like, I'll figure it. Maybe it'll get some. I've got all the stuff to do molded carbon fiber, which I really want to get into, and I just have kept pushing it off. But I'm with Josh. If I don't hear body rub, something is wrong. Yeah, it's like you keep getting it lower. It's like if it's not, I got room to go, I guess. Josh, any ideas on frame and cage color? I don't know. I almost anything that I have like this, I usually paint a gunmetal silver. That's just always, and I use a heavy duty wheel paint. Um, so the heavy duty wheel paint, I don't like powder coat. So um, the wheel paint is durable. It's not too thick. It's got a little bit of metallic in it usually, and it's easy to blend if you ever want to touch up. Did you make the cage or someone else? I did not build this cage. This cage is built from the Woods Runner templates or very similar that are on my website for download. Um, but I had this built by the same person who built the last one that Ben had, who is um, DS Fabworks. So he doesn't do a lot of cage stuff. I think just how things have gone. I He had this for like I don't know, like 9 months or so, maybe. I don't know. It was probably around. I didn't really care. I was just like whenever he can get to it, he can get to it. Fantastic. Go from there. So I just wasn't something I checked up on. He, like anybody, RC is, yeah, that's how that goes. Doesn't love, who doesn't love a little rub? Just saying. Rubbin's racing. Qualify as low as possible with some suspension travel still. That is true. You got to have the suspension comes first. The suspension has to move as you expect or prefer. But then slam the body, cut as needed. Keep getting it lower until stuff is poking out of places. Josh, what's a good street tire to burn up? I'm street bashing my new Slash, but I want to do and make a Chevy step-side street version. Any suggestions? Let's see. You can pick up the Hoons. Those, but those aren't 12 millimeter. Those are 17 millimeter. You'd have to get adapters. Otherwise, Proline Primes, I've used those too. They're kind of round, but not bad. Trying to think. Yeah, I think those are the only other ones I've used. What tires are you going with? Proline crawlers. I already got them here. I ordered a few sets the other day just because I had used my last set on the Flex Seal VS410 Pro. So, give me this body. Please send to Germany. No, cannot have. Even in real cars, sometimes we need to take a baseball bat to the inner fenders. Rub with drag slicks is a real thing. Oh yeah, I mean, baseball bat or a sledgehammer. I've beat in some fender wells and some pinch welds, and sometimes it's just you gotta massage some things. I just run 4.19s to eliminate body rub. Then again, I don't run comps, just trail. Even on my comp rig, or even on my trail rigs, little rub. Class 1 never rubs on the T or the TF2, but probably because it doesn't have enough suspension travel. Left you a message on Instagram for the media. Yes, let's make sure we do that, Gunnar. I didn't. So we'll figure out what day works. Get back. About to send this cage to you to see if you can come up with something like carve. Yeah, unfortunately, my time is basically eaten up at this point. Are the Vanquish tires inspired by the Ripsaws to some degree? They're slightly inspired by the General Grabbers. That's kind of a bit of the design there. So it's like a slightly more aggressive General Grabber. That was kind of the thought process. But at this point, I think that I'm going to let you guys get to your Sunday as well. I'm going to run to Home Depot and buy a couple of shelving units so I can get this area cleaned up. By the next video you see, this will not be the case anymore. There we go. That's my goal. Again, have a good Memorial Day weekend. Have a good Monday off. Go pay your respects if you have somebody that you the whole point of Memorial Day, right? So with that, again, happy Sunday. Have a good Monday. Hopefully some of you get the day off. Hopefully it's not too hot wherever you are. From there, that's it. I'm going to get some work done today. So appreciate it, guys. We'll see you on the next one.